Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Thursday, the 13th of April, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, some big economic news out today, both locally and globally. The Australian Bureau of Statistics reported that the economy added 53,000 new jobs last month, with a surge in full-time employment. The unemployment rate sits at a near 50-year low of 3.5%. In the US, the March Consumer Price Index figure came in at just 0.1% for the month, and inflation was 5% for the year to the end of March. That's the smallest year-on-year gain in almost 2 years. As President Joe Biden said, inflation is still too high and is well above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. Core inflation, which removes volatile items like food and energy, hit 5.6% for the year, which was actually higher than February. Still, the US CPI data wasn't too bad. Both measures, though, suggest that the central banks of Australia and the US might not yet be done lifting interest rates. Story number 2, the S&P ASX 200 was trading higher this morning ahead of the labour force statistics, but the prospect of rate rises put an end to that. And by the end of the session, the bourse was down 0.3% to 7,324 points. The big supermarkets fell sharply today, with Coles down 2.5% and Woolies off 1.1%. Aristocrat Leisure and Fortescue Metals Group both fell, while BHP and Commonwealth Bank were both down around 1%. The energy companies, Woodside and Santos, ended in the black. So too industrial giant Goodman Group, tech leader WiseTech Global, ANZ and National Australia Bank. Best in the day was Corporate Travel Management. Its share price jumped more than 12% after it won a new contract with the UK's Home Office. Worst was Block, which ended down nearly 6%. In bond markets today, yields rose following the labour force data, with 3-year bonds up 6 basis points and the 1-year rate up 5 basis points to 3.25%. Even after the increase, bond markets are pricing in a rate cut within the next 12 months. Story number 3, Cyclone Ilsa is forecast to reach Category 5 intensity as it moves across the East Pilbara coast tonight. That is the strongest possible category for a tropical cyclone, and Ilsa is expected to cross the coast between Port Hedland and Broome, producing wind gusts of up to 260 kilometres an hour. Several mining sites owned by BHP and Newcrest have been shut down, with 400 millimetres of rain forecast and abnormally high tides and destructive winds. The Great Northern Highway between Broome and Port Hedland was closed this morning, and several evacuation centres are open. Story number 4, Resources Minister Madeleine King said like-minded foreign investors will be welcome to invest in Australian critical minerals projects, just as those developing the next generation of Australian mines warn against excluding China. The Albanese government will soon release a critical minerals strategy to address national interest concerns over China's dominance of supply chains for minerals like rare earths. Critical minerals are essential for decarbonisation and defence applications, and Ms King yesterday said that the government's strategy will push back against the concentration of critical minerals industries in China. That's according to the Financial Review. She said market concentration leads to fragility, volatility and unreliability of key materials like critical minerals and rare earths. That creates a strategic challenge for Australia. And finally, story number 5, Ukraine has launched an investigation into a gruesome video that purportedly shows the beheading of a Ukrainian soldier in the latest accusations of atrocities said to have been committed by Russia since it invaded in February last year. The video spread quickly online and drew outrage from officials in Kyiv, including President Volodymyr Zelensky, as well as international organisations. The Kremlin called the footage horrible, but said it needed to be verified, according to a report in Associated Press. The video circulating online appears to show a man in green fatigues wearing a yellow armband, typically donned by Ukrainian fighters. His screams are heard before another man in camouflage uses a knife to decapitate him. A third man holds up a flak jacket apparently belonging to the man being beheaded. All 3 men spoke in Russian. That's it for the afternoon report for Thursday, the 13th of April, 2023. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with the Friday edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.